Hi, we're here today with Kevin Downs, our CEO and founder of Ask an Adjuster. And we're here today to explore how condo associations can benefit from having a public adjuster. So, one of the questions that we would like to know in terms of preparation is for condo associations that maybe hasn't filed a claim yet, why is a policy review so critical, especially before hurricane season coming up?
Well, condo associations spend a lot of money on insurance, and most of them only find out what's actually in the policy when they go to use it. And a lot of times there's things in there that don't benefit them, there's coverages that are missing, huge deductibles, things that they're never aware of until they actually go to get money from the insurance and then they can't get anything. So, as a public adjuster for condo associations, we like to do a free policy review annually to make sure they understand exactly what's in there in case they ever have to use it one day.
So, timing is of the essence.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's a free service. It's a no-brainer for condo associations to have their own public adjuster reviewing their insurance each year.
It's very good. Many condo associations think that they're fully covered. What are some of the most common gaps and surprises that you see when you're reviewing association policies? And can you review our current policy and tell us exactly what areas of the property are covered and maybe what's not?
Yep. So one of the big ones is flood coverage versus all other perils, hurricanes, plumbing issues, mold, things like that. That's a big one. Also, there's been a new movement with ACV roof schedules. So as the roofs are getting older, the coverage is paying less and less. If you're owed a full roof replacement, you could end up getting almost nothing and having to pay for the entire thing out of pocket. The third big one we look for is the dispute resolution. What happens if a condo association has a claim and the insurance company doesn't agree with the amount? We're seeing New York arbitration in these policies, which is just a very, very expensive, difficult process. And so, once again, a condo association having an advocate other than an insurance agent, the guy that's supposed to sell it, who gets bonuses from the insurance companies to keep the claims low, it's better to have a public adjuster in your Rolodex to make sure you know exactly what's in that policy before you actually have a claim and need to go get a large check.
So it sounds like having a public adjuster is helpful because you're going to see things that they're not going to see.
This is how we feed our families. Over the last 20 years, we've recovered nearly $2 billion. We've put hundreds of millions of dollars in the pockets of condo associations, helping to save them from special assessments. And so we know what to look for.
And speaking of which, what kind of repairs are typically covered per condo association?
That's a great question. We see so many associations automatically rule themselves out and order special assessments and spend money out of pocket. Most think that it's only a hurricane that would be covered, when in fact there's tons of claims that are available for things like plumbing issues, AC overflows, lightning strikes, car hits the wall, mold, all types of benefits in these policies that these associations pay for, most of which never actually get paid because they don't have their own adjuster helping them to recover those monies.
So it sounds like having an advocate kind of looking out for you and your policy would be pretty important.
I would say that handling a claim on your own as an association would be like going to court without your own attorney. It would just not be wise at all.
So the wisest thing you could do is come find Julio, our branded owl, our wise and
Julio,
trusted
the Ask an
associate.
Adjuster mascot. That's right. That's right.
So let me ask you, timing-wise, what steps could they take right now to ensure that their property is prepared if a storm hits? I mean, timing, we're coming up on hurricane season, or they can expect, or we experience unexpected damage.
Yep. So we're coming up on storm season, and obviously the number one reason condo associations are denied is for pre-existing conditions. And so we learned 8 years ago that at Ask an Adjuster, we want to come out now for free. We want to do a free inspection, a free policy review, and we want to issue the association a certificate of good condition. Basically, what that says is, as of today, we don't have any pre-existing conditions. Therefore, when a storm hits, we know that it's new damage and we know that it's covered under our current policy.
That seems like a very proactive approach. I think that would be advantageous for any condo association to take advantage of.
It's an amazing benefit, especially for associations here in Florida and also in California in particular, where we're just having natural disasters almost annually. And again, with the number one reason of denial being pre-existing, I rarely meet any associations that have anything in their file to prove otherwise.
Let's talk about damage that's not so obvious, hidden damage, right? How can associations know if recent storms or hurricanes may have caused some hidden damage that's worth investigating?
That's an amazing question. You know, we actually just delivered $400,000 to a condo association here in Florida that thought their damage was below their deductible. So many boards and CAMs are ruling themselves out. They're saying, oh, it's minimal, let's just patch it. Never realizing that there's so many benefits in these policies. Oftentimes there's a lot of money that's owed to the association, and once these deadlines come, they are 100% out of pocket. So one of the things that we do, we carry thermal imaging cameras, we carry moisture detection equipment. It's not the damage that's obvious that's the problem, it's the stuff that's not obvious.
Okay, so let's talk timing for a minute. So once potential damage is suspected, what's the first step a condo association can take? And more importantly, like when should they call a public adjuster like your team?
Great question. So obviously we'd love to know you before you actually have damage. Hopefully you'll get the certificate of good condition. You'll be ready in case something happens. But what I tell our associations, anytime that you guys are going to spend money on repairs, the first thing we want to do is come out and take a look and tell you whether or not the insurance company should be paying for them. Doesn't mean you have to file a claim, but at least you're aware whether or not the insurance should be paying for those repairs, and it'll help you avoid special assessments that are not necessary.
So for condo associations that do decide to jump on board and bring in a public adjuster, what's that process of documenting the damage and building a strong case before you notify an insurance company?
Yep, so we'll do all the heavy lifting for them. So the moment that we go out to an association and they decide they want to appoint us as their adjuster, we begin doing thorough inspections, documenting the issues, determining the cause of the loss, putting together the scope of work, putting together the estimate in the insurance industry software. We also call in the claim. We meet anybody that's coming out from the insurance companies, and oftentimes we may even, if we need to, advance the monies for experts to help prove the damage and prove the valuation of the claim.
So another question, we're very familiar with insurance carrier adjusters, but can you help explain what's the benefit of using a public adjuster versus relying solely on the insurance adjuster?
You know, I've always thought it would be crazy to let the person that has to pay you the money tell you how much they owe you. That just seems like a bad decision, right? So the insurance companies adjusters work for the insurance companies. Their title is independent adjuster, but they're actually not independent. They work for the insurance company. They're trained by them, they're paid by them, and they're told what they can and can't do by them. So the only advocate for the board, for the association, is a public adjuster or an attorney. Those are the only two people legally in the state of Florida and California that are allowed to actually represent the association, go to bat for them, and be sure they maximize the claim benefits that they receive.
So would you liken it to like getting a medical assessment, like getting a second opinion, basically?
Absolutely. Yeah, it would be more like an auto accident, right? You have an auto accident, you call the insurance, they say, oh, take it to this guy, and he could put a little duct tape and some bubble gum on it. When in fact, what you're owed is brand new manufactured parts.
Right.
Right? Well, it happens to be more expensive, but that's what you're owed.
So duly making sure that people get owed what they've paid for.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
So we've seen this experience happen quite a bit in the industry. So what can you do if the insurance company is underpaying you or maybe partially denies the claim? What do you do then?
So as a public adjuster, it's always free for us to come out and inspect the community and review the policy and give some advice. So if you've already filed and you've been underpaid, if you've been denied, if you haven't filed at all, it's free for us to come out, inspect the property, review the policy, and give you some advice. Right now in Florida, we had several hurricanes last summer. We're coming up on deadlines. Tons of associations have automatically ruled themselves out thinking it's below their deductible. The day after the deadline, guess who's coming out to start looking at these communities? The insurance companies. And when they come out and they decide now you have to put on brand new roofs, you have to put in brand new windows, tons of these associations are going to have huge special assessments because they missed the window. So really, anytime you have damage, anytime you're going to spend money repairing your community, first question is, should my public adjuster come out and tell me whether or not the insurance should be paying for this?
So it seems advantageous that any condo that was located anywhere near a hurricane, whether they think they have hidden damage or not, they should just bring out a public adjuster just to make sure that they're covered.
100%. Yep. And the beauty of it is, so we've had associations that called us out. There was minimal to no damage.
Right.
We issue them a certificate of good condition. Now, if a new storm hits,
Right.
they can't say it was pre-existing. We were there, they have our certificate, and those people get paid quickly and fairly.
Wow. So let's talk cost, because that is always a concern for board members, obviously in condos. Can you explain, how does your fee structure work, and why is it essentially free for associations to hire you?
Yep, so we are heavily regulated by the Florida Department of Financial Services. That's who appoints us. And our compensation is a contingency percentage, meaning that we only get paid if we deliver a check above and beyond the deductible. We get a small percentage of the check amount that we actually deliver. If we don't get anybody anything, they don't owe us anything at all.
Okay. That sounds fair,
There's no risk,
right?
right? And we don't like to work for free. So
Yeah.
we don't turn in claims where we don't deliver checks.
Right. Last question. Relationship is very important. So beyond just one claim, how do you partner with condo associations long-term and help them better prepare and be more protected as they go forward?
That's a great question. We love to partner with our associations long-term, and we do that through our certificate of good condition and our policy review, which is both a free service that we renew annually. So every year we're staying in touch, we're inspecting the community, reviewing the policy, issuing the certificate, so that if one day something happens, they're in a great spot to simply get paid quickly and fairly and recover the money they need and avoid special assessments.
Well, that was the last of my questions. It really seems advantageous for any condo association. There's no risk. They get all the free advice. They're going to be protected and hopefully maximize any benefit in case they have hidden damage or not. So it seems like we should all have a public adjuster in our Rolodex.
There's no doubt about it. If your association pays for insurance, you should have a public adjuster available to advocate for you and to put you in a position to be able to recover if you ever happen to have a claim. Hands down.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.